Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to Let's Play Nioh. I've been out sick for a little while, but I'm thinking I'm finally back. And we're going to start today's session off with the most exciting thing of all, character stats. Now, we've established that the shrines allow us to do a lot of stuff. Chief among them is level up. Now, Nioh's stat spread isn't the most complicated thing at first glance, but one note, every stat will increase your health a little bit. But body is the one that will give you the most health per point. So, from the bottom we have Spirit, which strengthens our Fire Pupper and the living weapon associated with it. Magic is for spellcasting. Dex strengthens Dex weapons like the Kasarigama, and it helps out your ninjutsu. Skill is primarily for powering up guns and dual katanas. Strength is for scaling with axes. Stamina is for your equip load. Heart affects your ki total. And body is for health and resistances, mainly. Like I said, not the most complicated stat spread, but it should be noted that not only do weapons have minimum stat requirements, like you would expect, a lot of armor pieces actually have specific stat requirements to unlock their bonus passive buffs as well. Oh, what a pathetic little thing. You're almost as pathetic as I've been for the past week and a half. Completely bedridden with toxic. Taking away at my health. So a couple of extra things about the bigger yokai here. One, they have large glowing horns. You can see if you smack them around enough, you send them into a critical state immediately by breaking the horn. And they also sometimes leave that ethereal-looking patch on the ground. It's called defilement. It messes with your stamina recovery. And here, you can see that I'm getting some extra mileage out of my living weapon. More on that in a second. So about the defilement and clearing that out, if you do a maxed out ki pulse while you're near one of the defilement patches, you will purify it, which is an important but subtle mechanic. So, what was I doing that was kind of weird with a living weapon there? Well, the thing that you have to understand about living weapon is that it's, I think we've gone over this, but it's been a while. It's a buff to your weapon that depends on which guardian spirit you have active. So, since I have the Fire Pupper, I have the Fire Living Weapon that's also causing the Burning DOT. Block that. Generally, you just get a big, nice damage buff. But also some passive benefits as well. And your health bar is also replaced by the living weapon meter for a little while. You don't want to tank hits because it will drastically reduce. Watch out for the hole in the roof there. And there's also someone we can see from this roof. We're taking him out now. The way that you fill the living weapon gauge is by collecting Amrita, or souls. Gaining Amrita while the living weapon is active will also extend the duration of the living weapon. So you can get a lot of things lined up at once and kind of chain it. If you want to just go super aggressive. Spirit is also the stat that governs that living weapon, how quickly it fills up, and how long the duration lasts. That is our, I want to say our 5th or 6th kodama. I can't remember how many we got last time. I think that's number 6. I think we have 3 left in this mission. That one's a really well hidden one as well. So since gaining Amrita is what fills the living weapon gauge, there's a practical use to popping soul items in combat. Like if you've just run out, you can pop your soul items, like the ones that I have on my second hot menu. And you can fill your living weapon in combat in that way. It's a really cool, like, little risk-reward mechanic. Nioh has so much extra depth to all of its combat mechanics. But the thing is, it's risky to do that because if you pop them to get another living weapon, it means you might be losing extra souls if you die. So it's one extra thing to consider. Combine that. It also means that there's some strategy and forethought involved in that decision. You don't want to just pop all of them because maybe you want to save them to power your living weapon up instead of just like going to the shrine, popping all of them, getting maximum number of levels while you're there. Maybe you want to actually leave some to show that restraint because you can get that extra living weapon against a tough encounter. By the way, that's the whirlwind kick. Remember last episode when I was being super blind? It's because I wasn't scanning the first word in the skill tree for a W. I was scanning for K. I forgot it wasn't just called kick, it's called whirlwind kick for the Kasarigama. I think other weapons, the guard break kick is just kick. So I wasn't keeping my eyes peeled for a W. And finally, since we plunged off the roof, we've made it all the way back around. There's a tiny little yokai capable of poisoning us in here. And this would be the ladder that we could have gone down. In fact, that's the ladder that the bandit took to get up to us after we shot his friend in the face with an arrow. We're not going to trigger that bigger yokai there, since we have a means to just run past him. He's not really the most worthwhile thing in the world to fight, either. Because we have a much more difficult yokai encounter up on the rooftops up here. First, we're going to hang a right because I believe there's an item past the fire. Oh, you're going to notice I keep doing that because the buttons are switched. The confirm action button and the dash are switched from what I'm used to. You probably see me do that a couple times now. You have to watch a lot of these rooftops up here because there are at least 3 or 4 that have holes in them thatched up. This is the more difficult yokai encounter that I was talking about. He hits, I think I broke his horn there, perfect. It's gonna be a lot of damage we get in on him. He hits much harder than the other ones we fought. We also have this disgustingly limited amount of space to fight him. Oh, he's being very tentative. That's another guard break and a plunging attack, so that's alright. He has one overhead axe swing that's capable of one-shotting me because I'm wearing very light armor. And we can purify that with a key pulse. I hope I'm not popping the plosives too hard because my throat's all banged up. Really, if you're listening and you're thinking, wow, I sound fucked. I'm much healthier right now than I have been in the past week and a half. It's just I've been doing so much hacking and wheezing and dry heaving that it's just a number on my throat. So it's gonna be maybe a couple days or a week before my throat's back up to 100%. You can see there's a kodama we can't really get to right now, way off in the distance. I love Nioh's bow and arrows so much, you have no idea. So we, whoops, no, that's the one I think we kicked out. No, that's a different one. But we don't want to take that ladder just yet because there are a couple of bodies to search amid the fire and the flames. And I know that somewhere around here, there you are, there is one of the lesser yokai. Oh, that did not, he poised through that, so finally we get to see poison. I guess it would be ill-advised not to... Is he capable of climbing back up here? Well? Oh, someone down there shot a fire arrow. Fuck me, fuck. Extra time this gets to tick away. I know we picked up antidotes by now. Let's just throw that on the first hot menu. Yeah, so that's not too bad. An elixir will clear the rest of that up. We don't quite get to pick another kodama up just yet, but we have to be vigilant up on these rooftops. In fact, let me be proactive about taking you out. Oh, it's so good. And if you haven't noticed by now, you can also zoom in a little bit. That's not quite gonna kill him, but... Oh no, he fell to his death after I shot him in the head. Took that last little chunk of HP off of him. Perfect. We have a minor yokai and whoa! He lived. He lived and he wanted it. Okay, this minor yokai, just don't let him. Normally they only try to poison you from the low stance, but I guess they can do it from the mid stance as well. That's something else I love about the enemies. It doesn't normally apply to the yokai because they're less stance oriented, but like the humanoid enemies, you can always tell what stance they're in, and this does apply to the yokai and the humanoids alike. You can always see their stamina. You know how close they are to breaking. You know what they're working with in terms of like how much stamina usage their attacks confer. Should be okay. Like, it's hard for them to really cheat you on that, you know? Because everything is present and visible to you. That information is not hidden. It's not something you have to just guesstimate. And it means that they can't, like, again, the enemies can't really cheat on the stamina. Eventually, they will just run out and you get a good opportunity to counterattack. So at either ends of the village here, including that direction to the right, fire is preventing us from really moving forward. So if we come back here, there's a ladder that leads up. There's a really cool shortcut coming up. Because up this ladder, directly ahead, there is a big bucket of water that will extinguish the fire leading back to the first part of the village that we were in. What a dope shortcut that one is. Whoop. I just at the last second noticed that that's where one of the holes in the roofs were. So I kind of dipped into the fire for a brief second to avoid falling through. This is where the sentinels we shot earlier were. It's also where we are going to pick up another kodama. You know, I always appreciate like the like really good shortcut design in Souls games and in Bloodborne and Nioh here. Like this gate doesn't open from this side, so you'll come back around to it later and getting a key to open up a door that you've already visited, or kicking a ladder down, or just like hitting a lever to activate a previously visible elevator. Like, that stuff's always good. The really creative shortcuts I am in love with, though. Like, the extinguishing the fire one is cool. My all-time favorite shortcut is the one from Aleum Lois in Dark Souls 2. It's the snowball shortcut. It's the best! Oh, this guy's trying to be a pain in the ass. Not really too big a deal. But of course, we also don't get very much in the way of important treasure for beating him. Kind of an even risk reward there. Not a very tough enemy, but also that clipped into the post. Also not a huge reward. Did that activate the other guy nearby? Now we can just wait for him to get up and come over. Oh, come on. He really, really does not want to die. There you go. Too bad the whirlwind kick only works close up. I don't like approaching the guys with the spears. One of the few weapons that gets to challenge the Kusarigama on range. Though I think the second hit of the medium stance light combo is one of my favorite things about the Kusarigama. Like, it's one of the single best crowd control elements of that weapon. But now we finally get out of the village and towards the shore where all of these invading ships were docking. Now through here, we get a very special item in this cove. From this corpse, not this one, but the one behind, we get something called the Harakiri sword. And it even shows up in its own special spot on screen. I believe that acts as like a neck seal binding. Or like a dark sign. And there's another really well hidden kodama back here. Makes it very easy to drown trying to get to him. Because most of that shore side is shallow. Or rather, most of it's too deep to tread. It's just the very edge that's shallow. Yeah, no, you stand no chance. We're gonna clear everyone out by the docks. Our goal is to actually get into that galley. We're not going to go inside quite yet, but we do want to get like halfway down the docks just to get that really minor little item. Oh, I was trying to juke him! Oh, that sucked. Yeah, so we don't want to quite hit the end of the dock and go inside the ship. But we want to just get a couple of items. Whoop. I still, this is my second playthrough of this, I still have not gotten used to how far forward you lunge off of a running attack. I still find it incredibly difficult to judge that distance. Oh, that's almost nothing. This is what, just a little bit of gold and maybe Amrita? That guy will get forever ignored. If you want to make it inside that house that's barred from the other side, you can jump off the cliff here. There's a roof. There's a hole in the roof that lets you inside. You have to fight a yōkai, though. I don't think it's worth it. There's a chest inside that I know of, but nothing super important. We have collected all of the missions kodama, all 9 of them, and opened up the shortcut to the other side. So from the shrine here, we get a nice, quick way to run to the end of the stage and to the boss. Now, I've been holding off on one hell of an epic coughing fit, and I also need to do some preparations, so I will see you all in a second. Yay, it only took me like a half hour to get back to recording this. I'm finally starting to feel better, but I am definitely not even close to 100%. Dude, that misty, grayish blue ethereal effect that they use for the yōkai, I think that effect rocks. So the Onryoki is like a much bigger, more vengeful, unique-looking, large yōkai. For a first boss, he can be fairly tough. And that's down to how little room for error you have. His range in phase 1 is gigantic. He's not very fast, which is your biggest advantage here. But his range covers a huge chunk of this room, so you need to be very careful. When you're straight in front of him, he does that very slow slam. You need to purify that ground. And when you're behind him, he whips the balls and chains around behind him, which I think is the by far most dangerous thing he does in that phase. Phase 2, he loses out on all of that range he had in phase 1, which you would think would make him a lot less dangerous, but he becomes much more aggressive, more damaging, and he gets longer attack strings. Still, I would consider this the easier phase. You can be a lot more liberal with just dodging him in this phase. Also, super important thing to pick up here is the ability that lets you key pulse after a dodge, or like from the dodge itself rather. It's stance specific for each weapon, but each stance has access to an ability like it. And high stance Kasarigama is like perfect for this fight, so I only needed to pick the high version of it up. And that is the Onryoki fight, which is more or less our first proper boss fight of the game, not including Derek the Executioner. Let's see, I see a lightning charm, the demon's horn, which we'll get into some of these minor items and a couple of the other more important pickups next time. For now, please enjoy Pocket Watch Cat.
Who are you?
A foreigner? Your skill against Oni is impressive.
As is your skill with English.
My name is Hanzo Hattori. And you are?
Call me William. I'm here in pursuit of someone.
An enemy, perhaps? Hunting a person down in a strange land will not be easy. If you lend me your strength in fighting Oni, I will help you in return. Well then. Dawn is breaking. Come.天下人であった太閤秀吉様が亡くなり、この国では今、二人の侍が歯を競っておる。一人は秀吉様を継いだ石田三成殿、もう一人は我が主君、徳川家康様。わしは家康様から西国大名たちの調略を任され、この九州へ参ったのだ。ウィリアム、近頃巷には地味猛量が出没し、大名たちは手を焼いておる。鬼を切るその腕を売り込めば調略の好機となろう。案ずるな。あやかし騒ぎを追えばお主の仇も現れよう。まずは家康様に近しい隣国豊前の官兵衛殿のもとに参ろう。
So now we have ourselves an ally and a map, and we will talk more about that next time. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take it easy. Have a good one.